Hey everyone, it's Tyler Stroke from Universal Rackets, and in this video, we are going to be talking about patience up at the kitchen. Do you ever feel like you're in a dink rally? You go back and forth, and you don't know when to speed it up. You don't know when to be offensive, and then when you do be offensive, you end up popping the ball up for your opponent and they smash it down at you. If that is you, then this video is for you. We are going to be going over when to be patient, when to be aggressive, and when to be neutral. When should you speed up that shot at pickleball? When should you keep on dinking? I know sometimes when we're up at the kitchen, it feels like eternity when you're dinking. And then you pull the trigger too soon and you lose the point. So stay tuned for this whole video and learn how to understand patience in pickleball and understand when to attack. So let's get started. The number one thing about dinking is patience. Again, patience is dinking, dinking is patience, okay? If you come from any other sport background other than yoga, or we could say tennis, or some type of finesse, right, like gymnastics, this is going to be a hard concept to grasp. If you come from football, if you come from basketball, if you come from weightlifting or boxing, what do you think? The harder you go, the better you are. Once again, the harder you go, the better you are. And what will happen when players begin in pickleball is typically the player who can hit the hardest and the most consistent in the court, who has that hand-eye coordination, is going to win. But what happens in your pickleball journey, and I'm sure that you have experienced yourself, the further you get into pickleball and the higher level you get, the more that people can hit things back. So banging doesn't always work. Again, if I'm a beginner player and I'm here and I can really just hit it hard at my opponent, it's probably going to win me the point. But eventually you're going to speed up the ball and then your opponent's going to go like that. And that was a really hard concept for me to grasp, even though I came from tennis. So dinking is all about trying to recognize the best opportunity. What does dinking do? And I say this in every video, dinking neutralizes your opponent. Once again, when you dink in pickleball, you are neutralizing your opponent. You are not allowing your opponent to hit an offensive shot. The reason why it's so effective is because when you dink, you keep the ball low and you force your opponent to hit up. So the first thing that I think to increase your patience with dinking is it's like if you're in an ice bath. I just got an ice bath, it's amazing. I can do, actually, I don't put my head under, but I go all the way in. I can do 10, 15 minutes, 37 degrees. Everyone's like, whoa, that's really cool. I'm not sure if it's cool or not, but I can do it. And the reason why is because when I am in that ice bath, I am in there. There is no way out whatsoever. I am so present in my mind that I am there. I am in that moment. Kind of like when you're doing a yoga pose or you're in a meditation, you are there, you're present, okay? When you're dinking, you need to have that type of mentality. You need to think when you're dinking, you can dink forever. Once again, you need to understand and say, I user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now. When I am in a dinking rally, I can dink forever. If you keep on telling yourself, don't pop it up, don't pop it up, don't pop it up, what's going to happen, everyone? You're going to pop it up. So number one, again, understand when you're dinking, you need to think that you can be there forever. I am just sitting here every single time. I can go over and over and over and over and over again until my opponent misses a shot. The number one thing where players go wrong is that they don't think about popping it up, or they think that they're going to eventually mess up. They don't want to mess up, and then what do? They get tight and then they end up hitting it, and then their opponent or their opponent's partner smashes it down at you. So you need to have that mentality, that patience. Now, how do we get better patience? How do we get into a better rhythm? And that is the key term. I tried to find another word, but it didn't work, is rhythm. If you can associate rhythm with dinking and dinking with rhythm, it's going to completely transform your game. I will say that one more time. If you can associate rhythm with dinking, it's going to completely transform your game. Now, I want you to think of dinking like a pendulum motion. You hit, your opponent hits. You hit, your opponent hits. You hit, your opponent hits. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. When you're dinking, watch, ready? You're going to go out to the ball, hopefully not drop it, right? And then your opponent's going to go out to the ball. You're going to go out to the ball, your opponent's going to go out to the ball. you're going to go out to the ball, your opponent's going to go out to the ball. If you can get into that type of rhythm, it's going to give you so much more confidence and give you so much more control and clarity, and you're actually going to be focused on the actual dink that you're not going to pop the ball up in the air. And for me, I come from tennis, I want to bang every single ball. I'm a banger, as you could say. And what? I sometimes get bored in dinking. I don't want to get through it. My mind wanders. I think about so many different things while I'm in these long dinking rallies. And as the higher level you get in pickleball, the longer these dinking rallies are, the more apparent it is, because they are trying to stop you from getting that offensive ball. And what do? I just focus on the rhythm, okay? That is the first thing for patience. The second thing for patience is realizing your strengths and your weaknesses, or realizing your offensive height. Once again, if you want to be more patient up at the kitchen, you have to realize your offensive height. If you were playing for money, okay, I want you to listen real quick, and this is huge for you, regardless of what level you are, okay? This is huge for you, regardless of what level you are. And I'm saying that again because I'm probably going to make this a short and blast it out to everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna say it the third time so we have it. Regardless of what level you are, you need to think that you're on a video game right now, or you're in a game show right now. Every single time you hit a ball in aggressively, you win $10,000. But what happens is if you miss the ball, you lose all of your money, okay? Once again, each ball that you make offensively, you win $10,000. But if you ever miss a ball, you don't get to take home all of the money. So listen, right? The first ball they're going to give you is this high. So they're going to hit you, and you're going to hit that high. Congratulations, you won $10,000. The second ball that they're going to give you is this high. Okay, I have 20,000, okay? Now the third ball that I give you is this high. Okay, now I have 30, right? The fourth ball is this high, okay? Now the fifth ball is going to be this high. Okay, so I won $50,000. I'm going to stop there. But here's what I'm trying to say. A lot of players, they can make offensive shots all the way up here, but the lower they get, the more difficult it is, to the point that when the ball's either at or below the net, they're extremely inconsistent. So for myself personally, I know I can hit an offensive shot here. There are pro players that can hit an offensive shot from below the net here, but I would not put that money on the line down there. I am not confident in that. I will not make that 100% of times. So my offensive height is anything until here. Anything below that, I'm probably going to block back. I'm not going to go for it, okay? Maybe for some beginner players, their offensive height is here. It's not even here. So what you need to recognize is the height that you will get a ball that you can be aggressive on. And what you are going to do is whenever you get a ball at that height or above, you're going to go for it. And whenever you get a ball below that height, you are not going to go for it. You're going to block it back. So again, an example, here's my offensive height, okay? Here's the ball that I can make millions and millions of times I feel comfortable. So here, I'm in a match, I'm in a competitive match. Right now, here we are, look, here we are, boom, okay? Now it's lower, I'm gonna block it back, okay? Offensive height, here we are. So I am recognizing my strengths, recognizing my weaknesses, and only pulling the trigger when it's up that high. Now, when you go out and you're dinking, you're up at the kitchen and you're in these rallies, what are you going to do? You are going to only go for the shots that you are comfortable with. And 9 times out of 10, why the players lose points in pickleball is because they get impatient and they try to hit offensive shots too low where they're not comfortable, and they end up getting burned or the ball goes out. So that is the first thing. The next thing that you can do with being patient, okay, and making sure that we're patient, making sure we're not taking the paddle back too much, is making sure that what? We are getting into our legs. By getting into your legs, it's going to keep your body grounded and balanced, okay? A lot of players, they end up taking too big of a swing, or they end up being too straight up, and what happens is that they're moving out and they end up hitting a bad shot. Instead, I want to drop my center of gravity. I want to get into my legs. That's going to help me minimize my movement when I hit, and that's going to allow me to stay into those rallies the whole time throughout my shot. Once again, a lot of players, They're not patient because their body's moving too much, and it forces them to get caught off guard. They're either taking the ball back, they're getting too close to the ball, they're not. So what am I doing? I'm dropping my center of gravity. That's allowing me to take more balls out of the air, and that's allowing me to be balanced at all times. I want to make sure I'm grounded. I want to make sure I'm efficient. If I had a glass of water above my head when I hit, I'm not going to move the glass of water. A lot of players are hitting, and again, they're moving like crazy. So just to review again, number one, to be more patient up at the kitchen and pop up less shots, what are you going to do? You're going to realize that you're going to be here. You can be here forever, okay? You're in it. You can outlast your opponent. The second thing that you're going to do is that you're going to get into rhythm. The third thing that you're going to do is recognize your offensive hitting point. If it's anything below that, what are you going to do? You are going to block it back. And last but not least, you're going to get more grounded into your body, okay? Your offensive hitting point, other players like to say, or other coaches like to say, you have green light, yellow light, red light. What does that mean? Red light, you're going to what? Let the ball block it back. Just get the ball back. Yellow light, you might go for it, maybe you won't. And then green light, what are you going to do? You're going to go for the shot. So again, a basic green light shot would be up here, yellow light would be here, and red light shot would be down here. However, I do not like to use that personally. I like to use find your good shot and your bad shot, because a lot of players, they end up missing because they second guess themselves. If you have a yellow light, it's going to allow you to second guess yourself. It's going to probe you to make a split decision. And in pickleball, what is a commodity? Time, because we don't have a lot of time in pickleball. So by giving yourself a go or no go, that's going to help you so much, okay? Now, the next thing that you can start doing is recognizing your opponent's tendencies, okay? You are going to start being more mindful of your opponent. Now, I know it's just thinking, yes, but you need to understand where your opponent is. And what I mean by that is you need to understand the more telltale signs. You are not going to go for a ball if what? It's below. It's not your offensive hitting shot, okay? You're going to be patient, you're going to be going back and forth, but then also you can anticipate your opponent hitting a defensive shot and giving you an offensive shot. And what do I mean by that? Think, if the ball bounced and you ever see your opponent go back, number one, if you ever see your opponent turn back, their head goes back. If you ever see your opponent take a ball on the short hop on a bounce, you better believe or anticipate that you might get an offensive shot. So what I want you to do again is not only dink and think that you can be there forever, but start being mindful of where your opponent is. The moment that I see my opponent goes like this, what am I going to do? Okay, you can, Ernie, but again, that's for maybe higher level. But what are you going to do? You're going to recognize, okay, maybe I'm going to get an offensive ball that I can come down on it. Fret ball I hit with the frame, but that's okay, it still went in. So by utilizing these tips, by utilizing these tactics, it's going to allow you to be more patient. You're going to be more patient up the kitchen. You're going to pop less balls up. You're only going to go for the balls when you're offensive hitting height. You're not going to second guess yourself. You're going to be bounced, and you're going to win so many more points. You, my friend, regardless of your level, regardless of your age, regardless of your pickleball experience, if you can implement these tips at the kitchen, you will be more patient and give your opponent less opportunities. They're going to think that they can outthink you. They're going to think that when you make the conscious effort and show your opponent that you are not going to give any freebies, that you can be here forever dinking, they're going to end up hitting to your opponent clearly, or what? They're going to end up copping out, okay? If you show them that I'm not going anywhere, your opponent's going to start second guessing themselves because they know that you're not going to lose these dinking rallies. There's nothing better than going out on the court, and I love it because I'm super good at dinking, and instilling in the mind of your opponents that you are not going anywhere. So Mr. Opponent or Mrs. Opponent, what are you going to do? You either have to hope and pray for an opportunity, because I am not giving you any. You're going to have to own or earn your opportunities. That right there is bad ASS in pickleball. And guys, it's going to win you so many more points. So make sure you use these. Make sure to comment below. If you guys want anything Selkirk, click the link description. Subscribe to our newsletter. We have so many cool pickleball events in the area. Make sure to fill out the form, and Universal Rackets representative will get out to you if you want any type of pickleball programming in your area. Have a good one. Happy hitting, and we will see you guys next time on court.